A daily dose of daydreaming heals the heart, soothes the soul, and strengthens the imagination. Hey guys, thanks for joining today. I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about reflection and quiet time. And so for me, those things are super important and imperative. And it's not something that came to me easily in my life. I was on the daily grind and going. And, I've interviewed Holly Golubiowski in a previous episode, and I talked about her in my gratitude episode. And she's really the person who enforced work-life balance on me. And I knew about work-life balance and I thought I had work-life balance, but I didn't. I'm one of those people that when I get stressed from things that are not work related, I pour myself into work. And many of you are probably that way as well. I wanted to talk to you about some things that I had read and that I think are important. And so I'm going to go with that. So there are only two ways you can live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle, and the other is though as everything's a miracle. And so I think that is really refreshing, given the time that we've all been through with the pandemic. I think that it's been challenging for a lot of us to find balance in our new normal. Our new normal is changing day by day. It varies state by state. It varies entity by entity. And there's a lot to be said for that. And so, I think one of the greatest things personally, in my opinion, that came out of the pandemic was, the work from home capability. I think that gave a lot of flexibility to a lot of people, and it was really needed and warranted flexibility. And then there's a lot of readings out there on, what entities and businesses will continue to do work from home and which ones are demanding you to be back in the office. And if you're demanded to be back in the office, are you vaccinated? Are you not vaccinated? And there's just so much out there. And so one of the things that has been really helpful or noteworthy for myself, one has been to normalize taking time off. And so at the Pivotal Companies, which is my business, I give ample PTO. And I think PTO is really important. I think quiet days and think time is important. I have time and that my employees know I call think time or sleep. I sleep think. And that's sometimes when my brain won't stop at night. It's going 90 to nothing. And some of my best ideas are had at 2 and 3 a.m. Some of my best ideas are had in the shower, which is weird, but true. And so they come to you at times that you can't normally think. But what I want to encourage you guys to do is to really think about your work-life balance. But not only that, think about quiet days, think about reflection and time, and stop looking forward and look inward. Because the reality of the situation is, I tell people all the time, you cannot pour from an empty cup, which is true. If you're going to pour into others, you need to refill. So when you stop looking forward and you look inward and you give yourself that time, the quiet time to really stop, reflect, and just be in the moment and be present and with your thoughts. You need rest to renew. Quiet time helps you discover what's really important. You can boil out the noise and really sift through what's super important to you. When it's quiet, you can make order out of the chaos. When you're in the middle of the chaos. And this one really rings true. When I started my business, I'm very collaborative of a worker. We all gathered in my house every day, 6 women, and we worked around a big dining room table. And, we got a lot done and we did a lot of great things. But the time that the pandemic gave me personally back was so much more advantageous than I could have ever expected it to be. And it was because there's grace in quiet time. And it reinforced my sense of place in this big world and what my genuine purpose of being is and why am I here and what is it exactly I'm trying to accomplish and achieve. It helps to reduce your stress to have that downtime, that quiet time. I don't think that I can see a day in my future that I don't have reserved quiet time for myself, that it's just been that beneficial to me and that important for me. And so, my team will hear me say a lot more often now. And if when they watch this, they'll go, go, yeah, she does say that a lot more. You know, I need time to think on it. I need a day to sleep on this. I'm going to mull it over the weekend, and then I'm going to come back to you and let you know how I feel. If you're struggling, like a lot of people are struggling with depression, and a lot of people are struggling in this new climate that we're in, it's very hard. I cannot imagine being a mom or a dad with kids in school, or a baby that you have to take to a daycare, or, you know, all of those stresses and pressures that you guys are faced with today. And I reflect on that. I'm very thoughtful in that with my own employees and what they're dealing with. And I try to put myself in their shoes, but I also try to get them to take the downtime to really think through, you know, how can they best organize themselves to be the best versions of themselves. I want to tell you that it's not selfish to refill your own cup. You can't pour into others if it's empty. It's not a luxury, it's essential. So, you know, I am going to give you a little PSA that I didn't think about until I read it. And it's that the strong and positive friend that's always there to fill your cup, they might need a refill too. So when you're thinking about people in your, you know, circle that pour into you, don't forget them, because they likely, just because they're strong, upbeat, positive, and they're constantly pouring, doesn't mean that their cup doesn't get empty. So give back to them and pour into them as well. Another thing I want to say to you guys that's newer for me, not as a whole, but in a vague manner, is that saying no is one of the best forms of self-care. And if you're a people pleaser, I'm a people pleaser. I was born that way. It's important to set boundaries and to say no. And that can be saying no to doing something that you're really not excited about doing, and reserve that time for you time. So, that's all I'm going to say about reflection and quiet time, is that I encourage each one of you guys to schedule some quiet time for yourself. And the first couple of times it's likely to be awkward. I encourage you to challenge yourself to make time for that. I've had bosses in my past and higher ups in organizations I work for that, you know, really encouraged a think day. And that meant going away and being somewhere alone so that you can really process and think about your KPIs for the next quarter, or what goals you want to set. And they can be personal, but they can be career driven as well. They can be family oriented. But I'm going to leave you guys with that. The last thing I'm going to say to you there are two places you should frequent often: the place that heals you and the place that inspires you. For me, that's the ocean. You guys know that by now, and that salty air just does something for a renewal for me. So I wish you guys all well. I hope that you take some time out to really reflect and spend some quiet time and organize your chaos. You're going to find so much beauty in it. And I wish you all well. Take care and have a great week. Hey guys, if you like this episode, please hit like and subscribe.